Today we're diving into something more specific with tarot life coaching. If you've ever had a reading with me, you know there's two things that I ask of you first. One is to choose which deck you want to use, and the other is, do you have any specific questions? Let's talk about how to best formulate those questions to get the most out of your session with me. Welcome everyone, my name is Devin Pelto. I'm a tarot life coach and a yoga teacher. And I work with the busiest of women, the ones that are doing their best and doing amazing things, yet they're feeling overwhelmed and overworked and oftentimes out of balance. And that's why I call my events Babes in Balance, because I want us to come back to this idea that balance is a lifestyle, not an end destination. And there are little tips and tricks that can help us figure out what that lifestyle means for us as individuals. So let's get started with today's question. How do I formulate the best question when I'm getting a private session, a private reading, life coaching? Because let's start with that. That's what tarot readings are for me. I call it life coaching with pretty pictures for a reason. I'm not going into fortune telling. I don't want to tell you a hard, fast, cold answer for you to run away with and not have to take any responsibility for it. I'm here for something else. I'm here to help you dive deeper into what your beliefs are, what your thoughts and your words and your actions are putting out into the universe, and how they're affecting you in your life and what they're creating in your life. So there are some basic things that I like to avoid. And these are really popular things that people like to ask. One being future. Everyone wants me to tell them their future. What does the next year look like for me? What can I expect? Well, I don't know. What are you asking for? Last week's video was just on that. What are you asking for? Where is your focus at most times? And the universe is like, yeah, here's more of that, girl. So now, I don't want to go into the future. I want to stay in the present moment because that's where we can do our work. And we're already here, so what better time to ask about? Another thing I like to avoid is yes or no questions. Now, don't get me wrong, we can do that. We can look at if I choose this, if I choose this, if I say yes, if I say no. But what I have found to be way more powerful is when we allow ourselves to dig into the question itself. What are we asking the yes or no about? How do we feel about the yes and the no? Again, we're bringing it back to the present moment, and we're doing deeper work than just getting a one quick yes or no. Responsibility flies out the window, and so it goes. Another thing I like to avoid is asking about someone else. Yes, I get asked about love all the time, but you know, one of my favorite quotes is our outside relationships are always a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So I'm going to turn it around on you like that. And also, it's not ethical of me to be looking into somebody else's energy that's not sitting in front of me and giving me their consent. So yeah, I can look at how you're feeling in the relationship, what your strengths and challenges are in the relationship, and maybe even a little bit of the strengths and challenge that they're bringing to the table. But unless that person's sitting in front of me, or unless I can talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, read me up, let them know whatever you want, chances are I'm going to ask you to reframe that question. So those are all the things I like to avoid. What does a question sound like that could be most beneficial to us? Well, we want to keep them open-ended. Think about trying to ask a child about their day. If you say, did you have a good day at school today? Yeah, that's the answer that we get. But if we say, what was the most challenging part of your day today? Then you might get a little bit more response. They might actually have to think about their answer and how they want to respond to it. So let's keep our questions open-ended. Again, we're going to hit on the same kind of things. We want to keep it in the present moment, and we want to keep it about ourselves and about our inner world and what we might be putting out there and expect for ourselves because we know ourselves so well, or at least we're getting to know ourselves really well. So examples of questions that I really like would be, what do I need to know about this situation? Or what are my biggest challenges when it comes to? Or how can I best move through this situation with my preference in mind? Or better yet, we can ask, what do I need to focus on during this time as I make it through this transition? Those are questions that are open-ended. They're here in the present moment, and they are an invitation for ourselves to show up and to dive deeper and to get to know ourselves on that deeper subconscious level that we often are like, sweep it under the rug. I don't want to deal with that right now. I'll do it later. Coming to a session is opening yourself up. So you better be ready to admit your edges. Admit when you've been focusing on something that you're not actually wanting to create, and boom, there it is. Being able to admit when, well, this is a habit of mine, this is a cycle of mine, what do I need to know about that? And it's an invitation for you to open yourself up to all possibility, because we're not great fortune tellers. I don't care who you're going to for a reading. We don't know the infinite number of possibilities that are around us at every given moment. But what I do know is that fear narrows our scope. And so when we dive deeper and we face our fears and we feel more confident in ourselves, that vision scope opens back up. And then we can see all the opportunity and all the doors around us that we're now ready to walk through because of this work that we're doing. So that is what I have for you this week. If you have questions about these questions, please let me know. If you have a question that's popped into your head during this episode, reach out. Let's get you on the schedule. Don't forget to subscribe, put those notifications on. And if you want to be added to my newsletter, I send these videos out weekly, along with other things like my schedule and availability. So if you want those reminders, send me your email and just let me know, and we'll get you booked and answering that question in no time. Thank you all for tuning in once again. Namaste, friends.